thinner pack of playing cards or like a couple of
Yeah, I was
credit
gonna say
cards
the
put
14
together.
Like, it's fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
a 1 terabyte. You said it was an NVMe, right?
Yeah, it's an NVMe 1 terabyte. It's fucking.
This is
It's
a 4
tiny.
terabyte drive that I
Yeah.
have.
Not much bigger.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, this is the
When
Western
this
Digital
was the hotness.
cover the label.
This is my
Yeah.
8 terabyte drive
So I still have a bunch
from
like,
England.
like those, but they're all 18 terabytes. So like you're not gonna get something smaller than that.
Yeah, I think I have 3 or 4 of these 4 terabytes that I'm
So I
using for
think
backups.
This one maxes out at 8, I think.
That's cool.
Oh, okay. Like in that form factor.
Yes, I do have a 4 as well, which is going to be used for backing up all of my majillions of photos that I have saved on my PC, and my platter drive here, which has to die at some point soon, so I need to do something about that beforehand.
If you guys want to see something crazy...
Yes, I do.
I look in the mirror every day, dude.
Hey-o, got him. Self.
My 1 terabyte thumb drive.
It's a tiny guy.
With a little keychain.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking at 20 terabyte drives here on Amazon, and they're already down to $350.
Yup.
Oh, that's so cheap.
I'm just
It
saying.
is, but it still isn't at the same time.
Plex the weights, dude.
Server. I know. The Plex server demands more storage space, and I must feed it.
Uh-huh. You are the Doctor Who of death, apparently.
Yes, right. That's right.
I showed him that clip. That's a fucking good clip.
That was. I saw another clip too, and I can't remember it verbatim, but it was something along the lines of, yes, I have many rules that say what I can and cannot do, and you do not want to find out right now why I have to follow so many rules.
Right.
It's like, yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. You guys ready to kick this thing off?
Fucking no, dude.
Ditto.
I did forget to mention I'm almost done with season 2 of Justified. Let's hope I can keep the good vibes going so I can actually finish the show at some point.
Right.
Do we want to talk about the biggest news of the week now, or at the start of the actual show?
The passing?
It is a news.
We'll talk about it in the news. I have it as in the news as an article.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's another one that happened on the 4th as well that everyone's just finding about as well. Toriako, I think her name was, the voice actress for Inuyasha and Hunter x Hunter and all that.
Yep. Yeah, she voice acted so much stuff.
Yeah, her list was long.
Yep. Alrighty. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Put a quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers. I almost swore.
If you want to hear us swear about stuff, you can check out the patron-exclusive Outcast. It's at the $2 tier or higher. This week we talk a lot about books. All three of us are big readers, and we don't do a book podcast, so figured, let's talk about some books on the old Outcast. Have some recommendations, have some stuff to definitely stay away from, because it's, certainly the worst. And, go read Dune again, along with, maybe an upcoming season of Critical Misses.
Ongoing. Thank you very much.
Ongoing and upcoming at the same, where we have inhaled the spice and we see the many potentialities and the current. Sandworms. Anyways, get early access to Critical Misses over there, and we roguelike it. the two shows over there, and you get exclusive access to Critical Misses production meeting. Moon and I are talking about kind of the direction of Critical Misses and doing psychic damage on each other about movies we forgot about from about 25 years ago. Then you also get access to the exclusive Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show watchcast, where Nimp and Moon are going through just a short little quick show named Supernatural. It's just like a season or two. Yeah, it and Firefly, just very, very short shows.
Cancelled way too early, Supernatural.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, definitely didn't end on insert the ending here. So
don't insert the ending there. We don't want to know. Neither of us have seen the ending. No. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I definitely won't. It's one of those things where it's like, I could probably make up a bunch of stuff and it would probably sound plausible, but I'm definitely not going to spoil it.
You could probably spoil it now, and I'll forget about it by then too. So
also,
we've got such a long way to go.
The only problem then is then this turns into an episode of the Wayward Sons while you ask questions.
I'm not saying people should. I'm just saying if Boston drops something right now, 14 years from now, I'm probably not going to remember that.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, get all of that and more over at patreon.com/E1M1. Let's do a quick production.
Ones and numbers.
Thank you. Let's do two quick production notes here at the very beginning. 1 week left for our Game Club game. We're playing A Short Hike. We're going to be doing the recap episode here. If you have like an hour and change, 2 maybe, you can knock out A Short Hike. It's also on everything, and you probably own it. It's been part of some Humble Bundles, PS Plus, still on Game Pass. Probably comes with a Switch at this point. You know, it's a tie-in bundle. You got it somewhere. And you probably have 2 hours. You can check it out. Play it along with us and then listen to the recap episode there coming out next week. Also, we were just talking about We Roguelike It. Moon and I are going through and playing more roguelikes than is medically advisable. We do have a trusted team of scientists, roguelike doctors, one might say, and they have advised us to keep going. That we'll just keep doing that. But
that's the American healthcare system for you.
That's right. Don't worry. Just like put some ice on it and take a Tylenol. You're fine. We have had a spreadsheet out there for a while of the infallible list of the best roguelikes of all time. It has been a little bit hard to access and needed a little bit of TLC. So this week I went and registered weroguelikeit.com. If you load up that site, it will bring you to the most recent version of the spreadsheet. It's got links to where you can find out more info and buy it on Steam. It's got links to the audio and video of episode 1 and the ranking episodes for each one of those games. And then it's got all the way at the bottom, it's got our tiny little Hall of Fame, because how are you going to figure out how to put Rogue in a list of roguelikes? That just doesn't seem fair. So, you can... And then, of course, I had to put The Binding of Isaac Rebirth in there, and then that just links to the other roguelike show we did 65 episodes of. So if you want to play along with Binding of Isaac as well, you can go do that. So check out weroguelikeit.com for the giant list of all the roguelike we've played and figured out where they fit in that giant list. All right, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Honestly, basically nothing. There was a work issue, we'll say. Shock of shocks, I know. You've heard me talk about this before. So not a whole bunch of time to do stuff, especially not with that movie coming out. Check out Critical Misses, ongoing season for news on that.
Season 27?
Something.
Yep.
20-something, who knows?
Infinite Friendships.
Yep, you got it.
I played, literally, I barely even played The Crew. I played a bit of A Little to the Left. I'm only really going to talk about 3 games, because I'm sure Nimp will talk about the other thing that I did play. And I didn't play it enough, is the problem. Anyway.
I think we may have all played that one.
Mayhaps.
Yes. Let's start with Bullet Beat. You might want to pull up a video of this one, Boston, because it might be one of the few times I talk about it.
Okay.
So a while ago, I was really getting the Joneses for a rhythm game. So I downloaded a whole bunch of indie games which were quote-unquote rhythm games. Bullet Beat is not a rhythm game.
Okay.
It is a shooter with music.
Okay.
And not in a BPM way, just in a it's a what
it's a shmup.
Gallagher. Yeah, it's a shmup with music. That's literally the easiest way to describe it. It is fine. The music is interesting. It seems to change level to level. It seems fine so far. The game crashes every time I finish a level.
Okay. I was gonna say it looks like it's probably like a solo developed, maybe first or second game sort of thing. Like that's not, to be clear, not a criticism. It just looks
but
like
it
that.
legitimately like hard crashes to desktop on the Xbox every single time I finish a level. Like, I don't know if I've got this in me to deal with this right now.
Right.
With like constantly having to reload it and then replay the same level again and again and again. So maybe I won't.
Yeah.
It
just
was
play yourself some R-Type.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally like a Capcom arcade collection on my hard drive waiting to be played. I'm sure one of those games has the shmups in it.
Something's got 1942 in it for sure.
Yes. Or I can just go down the Neo Geo route and buy any one of those.
Or just go dust off your GameCube and then go find Ikaruga and have at it.
If you think my GameCube is in this country, you are sorely mistaken.
That's why I said go dust it off.
Let me tell you, the travel handle works, but not cross like Atlantic kind of thing.
We'll get you some cables. It'll work.
Yeah, the undersea cables. It just ends with like a component connection on either end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be no lag at all in that.
Absolutely not.
Not for 1 second.
Nope.
If it lags, it's a feature.
That's
I can't put a HDMI cable from the basement to the attic, but I'm sure I can play my GameCube from across the world.
Yep.
It is fine. In my search for games that I want to play without wanting to play anything, I've been rough the past week or two, like mentally, physically, like everything has been a little bit rough. I really haven't wanted to play a thing. Like, I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to do anything. It could just be the latter effects of seasonal affective disorder. It could just be my mood in general. So I needed something to play that I didn't have to play. So I played Loop Hero.
Yes.
We did a full season on this
to be something
for Critical Misses. Not Critical Misses, for We Roguelike It. We did a full season on Loop Hero. The problem is right where we ended We Roguelike It, I was in the grind stage. Where it's like, oh, hey, to make progress, you need materials to increase your camp. So good luck with that. Have fun, I guess.
Also, you need a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yes. I did a couple of loops, a couple of runs. It was it was fine. Still can't beat the
third boss.
Boss.
Man, that one's I don't remember what it is, but that one's real rough.
I can't even get to the third boss. Like, I keep getting destroyed before I even get there. So I started doing some 2s and some 1s, and I think I finally unlocked Boston's favorite card.
Okay. Okay.
What's your favorite card, Boston?
I don't remember.
Well, I think it is, because I remember you preaching this one quite a lot. It's a golden card. I would use the one that gets you an extra resurrection, and you always used Arsenal, which is the one that lets you equip one piece of item from the other classes other than the one you're currently playing.
Yep.
I'm currently, not right now because it's not running, despite the fact that I looked over towards my Xbox. I'm currently on a run where I did a level 2 run. I killed the boss. The entire map is full.
Yeah.
and I'm just looping.
Going forever. Let's go.
And I have the 10% of my supplies get sent back to base perk.
Oh, nice. There we go. All right.
So I don't know what the condition of my home base is at the moment.
Stuffed, probably.
Because I'm up to like enemy level of like 24 or 25.
Wow, that's a very long run.
So I'm just looping over and over and over again. And I have the bookery. So every time I go past certain things, I refresh the cards I have in the desperate search for an Oblivion card to get rid of one of the village question marks.
Mm-hmm.
So I can replace it with a proper village. And now I finally learned how to make the Count's lands, which is something you talked about on the show.
Yes.
Which gives you better quests and gives you better rewards, therefore better loot on the loop. And I just keep going and going.
The loop never ends.
Oh, sorry. I just realized I'm actually the other way around.
Right.
Counterclockwise, not clockwise, is my current loop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, we'll say.
Yeah.
There's not a lot I can do except for Oblivion certain cards and then replace them with different cards. Like, that's literally all I can do. So I was sitting there perusing my phone while a little guy just did loops. My little rogue with his magic shield just kept going round and round and round and round and round.
Fighting rats and vampires and ghosts. And spiders.
Now that's not
Diddly
so
diddlies.
I hated the rogue because you didn't get any of the equipment stuff until you made it back to once you've completed your loop. Then you were able to re-equip stuff, and that I hated that so much.
Yeah, that first loop is like, I just need to make it so close.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I also started messing around with like the supply side of things. So like the crafting setup where you can build tables and then equip them to a loadout, and then that has an effect on what happens every time you go back to the campfire. It's like, okay, I guess.
That's a weird system that I feel like doesn't all the way come together. But like, I see what they were going for, but it never really seemed to come together all the way in a way that's kind of a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, it's an interesting version of the meta, of like building that meta game kind of thing. I will say I did get one, I think it's one of the tables or something, lets you do 5% additional damage when you are in the light of a beacon or a road lantern.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to equip that because 5% damage is huge. And I'm just going to make sure that my entire roadway is like walking down one of the main streets in America where it's just fully lit.
Right.
It's like, oh, hey, is this Times Square? Because the whole thing could be.
Right.
Because it's just so many beacons everywhere. Well, it's the game I picked because I was going through. I went to my games. I scrolled all the way to the smallest one because here is my key dilemma on how I pick games. Oh, I need hard drive space, organized by size, stick near the top, and figure out what I want to play. Oh, I don't know what I want to play. Organized by size, scroll all the way to the bottom, shorter experiences.
There you go. You figured it out.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, I love Loop Hero so much.
It's a small lie because Loop Hero is not a small experience. Neither is Crypt of the Necrodancer, for the record, which is incredibly small install size. Not small experiences.
No.
Bullet Beat, small experience. These ones, not so much. But I wanted a game where I didn't have to quote unquote play anything because I'm just not in the mood. Which is the only thing that has stopped me from playing more Helldivers 2. Let me just air some grief I have here, some grievances with the community at large right now.
Okay.
I go into the LFG group, right? And I write, hey, I'm going to start playing Lethal Company. I did play Lethal Company. I just don't want to talk about it. It was a short run. I got a migraine. I go into that LFG group, a brand new LFG group, and I write, hey, playing some Lethal Company. People give my GIF like a thumbs up or whatever, and then nobody jumps in place. I say, hey, I'm going to play Helldivers 2, within 3 seconds, this guy here,
I'm coming.
is like, be right there.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, let me just tag in Pharaoh because we can get a full squad in, and we'll be there in a couple of moments. Like, well, you can't play the other company, but you'll happily jump in 4 seconds flat with Helldivers?
I will one day play your capitalism simulator, but right now I'm playing the democracy simulator, okay?
That's right. I have also played this week on our Thursday night group. The Hannah said, hey, I picked up Helldivers 2. We should play that. And both Bill and I went, okay, we can do that. It also turned out I had, because of the wonderful and still somehow not NFTs PlayStation Stars program, I had $20 worth of gift cards through the thing. So Helldivers 2 was $20, which is a great price. I love it. 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what did you think, Boston?
Yeah.
I got to give a big shout out to Faeror for sort of showing us the ropes at the beginning of the game, because I think Helldivers 2 does a really good job. It has a really good tutorial, and it does a really good job of showing you the ropes enough, and then just kind of like letting you loose in the game for you to figure out the rest of it. So it was really easy to figure out kind of what to do at the beginning, and I really appreciate that of the game. What Faeror helped us out a lot with was sort of like, once you get done with the first couple of missions that are really small maps, like very tiny experiences of go do this, learn how to do this game type, or learn how to do this kind of map interaction thing. Once you get into the big maps, she was really helpful at showing us, like, if you have an objective to pick this thing up and move it over to this other area, start here and then kind of do an entire loop around the map to do other stuff. That'll get you kind of the most stuff at the end of your mission.
Yeah, because you need them samples. That is the thing I need more than anything else, is samples.
Yeah, and I appreciated her showing us a lot of that stuff of just kind of the, like, not how to play the game, because the like I said, the tutorial, who's voiced by the dude that does the voice for the Drifter, which is really good. That was actually really good, and by the time I got to the point of the tutorial where I was like, yes, okay, I'm pretty done with this. They're like, all right, here's your cape, let's go. It's like, oh, thank you. That was tuned perfectly for me to be like, all right, let's name our ship, let's get out of here, let's go play Helldivers.
No, you can't float past that.
Yep,
my ship is the Spear of Midnight.
Nice.
Ooh. Spear of Midnight.
I was half expecting it to be the Spear of Destiny because, it's you and it's Destiny.
Right, and I played that Wolfenstein expansion. No, I actually, the first, I don't remember what because it randomizes the one you pick up at the beginning. And very quickly I saw Spear, and I'm like, all right, Spear of something is a pretty cool name for a ship, especially a spaceship. So now I need to look through the other column, and I was reading them aloud just to see how cool they'd be, and then Spear of Midnight came up, and I was like, "That's cool. That's gonna be my ship name."
Speaking of Urban Fantasy books,
that's right. The only issue we ran into when we were playing is on Thursday. It seemed like they were ramping up like a community event of, "Hey, defend this system from something that's going on to unlock something." Matchmaking and trying to do friend code stuff was busted, and
we had a rough time.
Yeah,
when we played on Wednesday
or Tuesday, one or the other. But this week they dropped the patch for the mech.
Right.
However, that didn't mean that we got the mech. The whole thing was we had to defend, I forget the planet, but it was on the automaton section.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to defend that planet because that's where the mechs were being built. And if we did not defend that planet, if we lost it, they were delaying in real life when the mechs were going to be released.
Gotcha.
So that was why everybody jumped on, and there were already reports on their Discord. It's like, hey, our servers are getting hit hard again, so expect issues today.
Yeah, because like we were eventually able to join each other's group inside the PS5's UI, which eventually worked, but it was a lot of like, I sent a friend request, you can't accept it, I can't join somebody else's party in game, but like I'm totally understanding because this game is still selling it. The sales progression of this game, it's selling more and more every week, so like I totally understand that this game just continues to be a runaway success, and they're like, the development team is just trying as hard as they can to just like keep it playable. Like we were able to get in eventually, and we played I think 3 or 4 missions or something before I had to tap out, and it worked super well. So like I think it's super cool.
Well, and that's the other thing. The CEO of Arrowhead came out and said that we are trying to keep up with the staff that we have, and we are hiring so that we are not over hiring, because we don't want to lay people off. So we're trying to mitigate. Yeah, we're trying to mitigate. Okay, do we really need 2 more, programmers or whatever?
Right.
And going that way. So that's why it's been taking a hold. But I mean, I have full confidence in Arrowhead right now. Like, yeah, it sucks that Wednesday night, Thursday, I couldn't get on to really play anything.
Yep.
Whatever. I played a ton Friday and a ton yesterday.
Yeah.
That's all. I just needed my fixes. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to play solo, if any at all, because I like this game as kind of that, like, the thing that I look for when we're going to look at playing something for our Thursday night stuff is really that turn your brain off and play a video game kind of game. And Helldivers is largely that, with a little bit of like, oh, we got to go find this thing, we got to go put in the code to unlock this SSSD to go pick it up and bring it to somewhere else, and like, but that's the heaviest mental lifting that we're gonna have to do, which I really appreciate. So I don't know how much I'll want to do that solo.
Yeah, a lot of times I just go in and just have it do a quick match, and I just play with randos a lot. I've been helping a lot of new people, like lower level people.
Oh, nice.
But there are also times where I'm in like a difficulty 6 or 7 match.
Oh boy. And
then like a level 8 shows up. I'm like, no, you're kick. Like you're
not ready yet.
It's not that I have an issue with level 8s. It's just that at that difficulty, you don't have anything unlocked that is going to help. And you are just literal dead weight to this mission.
Yeah,
and
you don't have the tools we need.
Yeah. But like in a 4, like a level 4, and a little bit of level 5, depending on what missions we're doing there. Yeah, whatever, you're level 8, let's go. Like I'll help you guys out and show you where stuff is. But there was one that I was doing earlier today, this morning, where I walked them all the way around the map and just helped them pick up, supplies and all the samples and stuff that they needed. And I was like, all right, we did it once. I'm not doing it again.
Right.
It's like, this is on you guys now.
Right.
But still love this game. I've unlocked just about everything. I think I only have 2 more things that I can purchase. And I am on the last bit of the upgrades where I need to start grinding in the very high difficulties for the 3rd upgrade resource, which I haven't unlocked any of yet. So I need to start grinding those, and those are not something I want to do with randos.
Oh, sure, because you need like a little bit more communication.
Yep, and also a lot of the random people are being super weird, like kind of in this video that's on right now, where it's like the guy's he's being stupid and not getting into the freaking plane.
Right.
At the end when you're supposed to be leaving, and then somebody gets killed, and now we're down a person, and now we're missing on an experience and samples and stuff. I got killed on a last mission that I was doing because I didn't know where the evac shuttle came in. And so I was looking for it, and some idiot threw down a strike, and then it killed me right when I noticed, because I was running to the shuttle when I finally found it, and that killed me.
Right.
I'm like, really? Because I was the one that had everybody's samples, so now all we have is money and experience. Thanks
Good
a
job,
lot.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you run into that off and on, but
yeah,
a lot of times there's been more positive matches than there have been negative.
that's good.
And especially right now, I think by the time this comes out, the mech is free to use by anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after this weekend, if you have not purchased the mech in game, you don't have access to it until you hit level 25 or whatever, and then you have the ability to purchase that drop.
Oh, okay.
And that drop costs about 20,000 credits in game.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Which is, it's the most expensive drop out of everything. I think the most was 12 that I had seen.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the mech is fun. There's currently no way to rearm it once it's out of missiles and once it's out of bullets, and there's no current way to repair it. So it's not something that you want to drop at like the start of a mission, unless you're doing like a defense mission. It's not a defense or a termination termination mission. It's not something you want to drop at the beginning of a mission. It's kind of like, okay, we're at the halfway point or we're at the end and we're waiting for the shuttle to come in. Everyone drop a mech and let's just start blowing things up, you know? There is issues with hitboxes right now too with the missiles. There have been several people where they've like tried to shoot over something, like a little concrete barricade. Pharaoh did this, and one of the other people that we were playing with did this as well, where you have the ground clearance to shoot it, but then all of a sudden they just blow up. And I am thinking it's a hitbox issue, because that's what it's looking like to me when I saw somebody do it by accident.
Yeah, that's pretty common stuff, so that's understandable.
Yeah, but it's still getting figured out. But it's still a ton of fun. There's also a new war bond that's coming out, a new banner coming out on the 14th. And Arrowhead has already come out and said, we are not removing any of the previous war bond banners.
Thank you.
They're doing
everything.
Microsoft Season Pass thing.
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, everything is going to be accessible throughout the life of the game. So, like with you, Boston, right now, you don't need to hurry up and grind to try to grab everything, because it's not going to happen anyway by the 14th.
Yeah, because like I'm at the point now where like, unless a game is outstandingly good, if I hear they're like, hey man, this game just came out 2 months ago, season 4 is starting up, let's get the battle pass.
Seriously.
I'm like, I'm not even gonna play your game now. Like, nothing personal. I can't. Like, I have too many other things to play. And like Pharaoh says in chat, you can earn the premium currency for free, no need to pay for it. Like, we were picking up medals like crazy on the match we were playing the other day, and I'm unlocking stuff from there were like 2 passes in the game when we were playing. I was just unlocking a bunch of stuff. It's like, yes, perfect. Like, this is I don't want to get in the like Destiny thing where it's like, oh man, look at all this cool stuff I have that you can't get because you weren't playing 3 years ago. It's like, that sucks. That still sucks. That will forever suck. Like, the expectation now should be just make it so you can unlock. Like, if you have to have it where someone needs to like commit to a season pass, that's fine too, where it's like, all right, I'm going to work on season 3's season pass now, all my XP goes to that. That's fine too, but just like just stop everything in general.
So far they're doing everything correct right now.
Agreed.
Between real life with their staff and them trying to keep this game running with the popularity, and them flat out telling people, especially in the beginning, it's like, hey, if this is the only $40 you have to buy a video game, don't buy this one yet until we get it more stable, kind of thing.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's only $40 too. Like, there's a lot of game in here for $40.
Yeah. And the roadmap, I don't think any of the stuff that's coming up anytime in the future right now is paid. I think it's all free updates right now. Yeah,
I believe I keep seeing them say like, no, like all these, quote unquote season passes and all that, like that stuff's all free. You bought the game, so
yeah. So it's like,
you got
I'm kind of already at the point where it's like, unless they do something horrific all of a sudden, whatever thing that they put out that needs to be purchased in the future, I'm probably going to buy it day one just to support them. Like,
and this is the type of studio too, where it's like, you could buy premium currency too. So like, I could see every once in a while, it's like, yeah, I'll just toss $10 in the the tip jar, like I'll buy some premium currency or whatever. Like I would prefer that to be the case rather than like, oh, you want the mech in game? $30 worth of Helldivers bucks. And it's like, no, I'm okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a good game. If anyone ever sees me on playing, you can jump in.
Yeah.
It also does look like it's got a long life ahead of it based on the fact that Helldivers 1 is still kicking.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was a big. I know I had mentioned when there were server issues with the second game that I jumped into the first game, but there was even when the server stabilized, there was a lot of things on the Discord of people on the Helldivers Discord of, hey, if you haven't played the first game, go check it out right now. So a bunch of people moved over there. So all of a sudden that saw a spike in active users again. So
Arrowhead's like, please no, just hold on. It's one more plate to spin. Like, hold, please.
Yeah, it's just a fun dumb game. One thing that I did forget to bring up last week was that there was a comparison video that I had seen that was comparing how you control your character in this game to how you control Venom Snake in MGS5.
I saw that too, yeah.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. So, and I really liked goofing off in MGS5 a ton.
Yep.
So that's probably why I'm really getting stuck with this game now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all
Anything
I got.
else you've been
it's just
playing,
a great game.
Nope, that's it.
All right, Nip, over to you.
All right, the only other game I played was Final Fantasy VII. So, do you want to hold off on that?
Me too. No, I played. Okay. I played maybe another handful of hours. I made it through the Mithril Mines, and I'm like out in the open world area outside of Junon, which also super big.
Yes.
Oh man.
Luckily, how much of that outer area did you explore so far?
Like, I keep exploring stuff, and the game is just like, good on you.
Okay.
There's still more over here, and it's like, oh no, man. Okay.
You will come to a point where you're going to have a couple icons further to the east on the map, and you can't get to that section yet.
Okay.
So that's when I went into lower Junon, and that's where I'm currently at. Okay. I am not much further than you are.
Yeah, because the game, again, we're not going to talk about any spoilers here.
Sorry, no.
The game...
Partially because nothing's really happened yet still.
Yeah. The game does a really interesting thing, though, of whenever you get to a new open world section, you have to find and tame a chocobo to be able to ride it in that area. You can still unlock the like chocobo rest stops where you can, those are essentially your fast travel points around the map area you're in. But in the second area you're in, there's a bunch of like sheer cliffs that the game, you walk up to your first one, has a little like yellow chocobo icon on the bottom that looks similar to the icon that shows up in front of like climbable walls and ladders and stuff. And the game is like, hey man, you need a chocobo to get up this thing. Keep playing to find out more. It's like, okay, I'll keep exploring because I gotta capture these towers. I got a fight to do over here. Chadley wants me to do something. I don't know what he's talking about over here. I had to turn off. I was watching TV with my wife, and I was playing Rebirth, and I forgot that Chadley and the other lady, Aya, yeah, they come out of the speaker in the controller, so I had the volume turned down on my TV while I'm just wandering around town, and then all of a sudden there's a brr, 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 and Chadley's, hello, it's me, Chadley. It's like, oh my god, it's just like
I had that same thing. I was playing in here and I had everything turned down because I was talking with my wife, and then she comes in and she's like, why am I hearing a woman's voice in here? And then she starts talking again through the microphone on my controller because I was looking for a hunt, and she's like, where is that coming from? And I'm like, let me talk to you about PS5 technology.
That's right. Normally I love the speaker on the controller because a lot of times developers will have that stuff come out of your speakers and the the controller at the same time, so it sounds like it tricks your brain to make it sound a little otherworldly, which I think turns out pretty neat. But in this case, it's just like I'm having a nice quiet time with my wife, and it's me, stupid Chadley. What's going on? Let's talk about materia. And it's like, shut up, Chadley.
It is kind of funny though, because it does sound, because of the little microphone in the controller, it does sound like a radio. Right. You know, that you're getting a radio communication.
Sam,
from
Die Hardman here. It's like, no,
exactly.
Stop it. But the one thing that I did notice that I really did enjoy is we talked last week about the overworld theme being Aerith's theme, and then that morphing into the battle theme. What it turns out to be is there's at least 2 versions of every theme in the world, because when I'm through the Mithril Mines, there's that kind of like looping adventure music, and then when I start a battle, it's the energetic version of that song is now the battle theme. So there's like, they're mixing and remixing all of these themes a couple different ways, and I'm like, oh, so that's how you get to 400 tracks on this OST. Seriously. Now I'm seeing it.
This is the faster version, and this is the normal version, you know? So
right.
Yeah. I really liked the Mithril Mines, how at the start it looked like a museum piece that you were going through, and I wish that the plaques had, like, I understand that they use like the in-game written language, which is not English or Japanese, right? But I wish that they had like English plaques there so you could kind of read about, because it was set up like a museum, like the old grainy brown pictures of like, this is what the mine used to look like when they first started, kind of crap, and it's like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah, my only criticism of the game so far is it's still really not fun to play as Barret, because Barret, it consists of largely holding down square as he goes tekka 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 tekka, and then he reloads and then goes back to tekka 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 until the triangle bar fills up, and then you hit that and it goes thump 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 thump, and then you are back to holding down square. Like, there's not a lot there that is super exciting, which is, I don't know how you make Barret more fun to play, but after
he's also a really big dude, so he doesn't really move that fast either.
Right. Like, from that perspective, like, I understand that that's probably a hard gameplay design thing to do, but I really didn't like how he played in Remake, so I was hoping they would do something in Rebirth, and they really didn't, which is kind of a bummer. So, did I talk about last week about going back to Calm? No, I did that this week. I went back to Calm and got my revenge on Crybaby Ned, and did a Queen's Blood side quest where I had to like go shake a dude down to get another card.
Oh yeah, the Boogle Chocobo card.
Yeah, that was a pretty good quest of like, hey, you're just gonna have to play a couple of games of Queen's Blood. And I was like, oh no, okay, I guess I had to play a bunch more Queen's Blood. Let's go. So,
dude, there's a group. Well, hang on. Before I get into Queen's Blood, one thing about the battle system that I dislike is when you change characters. All the enemies pivot to whatever character you just switched controls to.
It's really weird.
Heinous.
It's really, because like when you're fighting, like say you're fighting as Cloud, and my party right now is Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. Yeah. When you're fighting as Cloud, you can see the enemies fighting Tifa and Aerith as well. Like they're all kind of, everybody's faced off with other people. But you're right, because I like punching stuff with Tifa, because like who wouldn't? You'll change to Tifa and everybody will be like, get her. It's like, that's not okay. Weird, man.
Usually I'll switch over to Aerith when I have flying enemies, because those became a lot more prevalent in Junon.
Yeah.
So I'll switch over to her, and then all of a sudden, like everything will just start like homing in on her. I'm like, give me a moment. I haven't even tried. And that's the other thing. Right. Like, it seems like characters that you aren't controlling, their ATB bars do not fill, like, at all, almost. So it's like, I'm trying to charge up her ATB. She can't really do a whole lot, and she is just getting hit all over the place. Like, give me a moment. Come on.
Yeah, I'm hoping some of that stuff alleviates as we get deeper into like the folio system and we get different gear and we get different like bangles and necklaces and stuff. I did a little bit of time. I spent a little bit of time doing the crafting system this week, so I'm like crafting level 5 or 6 or something, so I can start making equipment that's actually pretty good at this point. Like I'm making bangles and things that are better than what I can buy in the store. So I'm hoping that will alleviate some of that stuff. But you're right. I kind of had all these little issues with Remake that might be resolved here, but not so far. The things that have changed in this game at the beginning are the things we talked about last week, where it's like folios and here's the grid system and here's this 10 other new things, and it's like, yeah, but I still kind of need the core hacking and slashing to be a little bit improved. But we're still so early that I don't want to pass too much judgment.
Early, as in we're 16 hours in,
right?
And we haven't hit the open world segment yet.
I do really like how they change from one chapter to another. Like when you come out of the Mithril Mines and you're in the outskirts of Junon, it's just like, yeah, man, here's the next chapter, and it just says like chapter 4, the chapter name. I like that instead of, I'm coming off of playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where every chapter ends on a cliffhanger and has like a save menu, and it comes with a big like doom and like here's the big Japanese writing on it, like it's an event that there's a new chapter happening. So I kind of like that this one's just like, yeah, it's chapter 4, man, let's keep moving, let's go. So I appreciate that.
Getting back to Queen's Blood now, I have attempted to battle. There's a set of twins in Lower Junon. And you fight them both. Like, you fight one, and then when you beat them, you fight the other one. And once you've beaten both of them, you have won.
Oh,
and those little guys suck.
Those little jerks.
Yeah. I have to go in and I gotta mess with my decks. Because up to this point, I haven't really had to... Like, I've made some minor changes here and there, but nothing major. But going up against these guys, like, they're putting down a card that looks like it cost 1 or 2 pawns, and it's like a 5-point card.
Oh God!
Exactly. So all of a sudden they go from like, oh no, they have like this one row that they're holding with 2 points, and they slap that thing down. It's like, oh no, they're at 7, and I'm over here with like 2 1s and a 3 maybe.
Right.
It's like, what the heck, man?
Right.
So
yeah, they're like, oh, how am I going to win this match? Oh no, gotcha.
Yeah, they are curb stomping me in this game, and I am save scumming because you have to, every time you lose, you have to pay them 3 gil. And I understand money isn't difficult, and it's only 3 gil, but
it's the principle of the thing, though. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, going around Lower Junon has been pretty fun. I have met other characters that I won't get into. They're not spoiler or anything, but they have brought back another character from the first game who I'm excited to see again, and Cloud is absolutely not excited to see again. So
perfect.
Yeah,
I think that's my objective this week is like, I'm trying to do a little bit of the open world stuff when I come to it, because I think some of the side quests so far are pretty good, and I like the open world, like capturing towers and doing hunt stuff, especially because the materia that Chadley has largely is pretty good. Like, we talked last week about the fire and ice materia in the first area. I think it's the second area where he has the wind and lightning one. So like, I want to go get that and get like I got the steel and morph materia in the first area and then kind of left. Like, I want to get some of these materia that as I open up more slots, that these would be good ones to fit in there as I kind of try to manipulate the systems a little bit. But I still have to just get into Junon and like continue to get the game going, because I can't just do the open world stuff forever.
Well, it sounds like when you get into a new open area, it sounds like the only thing you really need to worry about is just the hunts.
Yeah.
Because you can get to a point where you're overpowered and you cannot complete the 3, things that you need to do because you're killing them too fast. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it seems like once you've knocked out those, you can leave the rest for later, whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Another thing too, I don't know if you discovered it, but if you fix the old man's cart at the Chocobo farm, you will be able to fast travel back to the grasslands instead of having to go through the mine again.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the middle of that quest, so
okay,
I'll have to go finish that then.
I don't have to go back because I 100% of the grasslands because I have a problem.
Understandable.
Yeah, which is how I know that the second area you can't get to the other part of the field so far. There's something else that you have to do, and I haven't figured out what it is yet. So
gotcha.
But I am hunting down the shrines for the Phoenix summon that we get from there. Did you go into the Proto Relic stuff for this area yet?
Not in that area. They did a little bit of it in the first area, and I don't remember how much I've done in that first area, but it was a lot of like, all right, I could keep scouring this map, but I'm not really going to. I'm just going to keep going. I don't worry about getting Titans, so I'll move on.
There's a picture that I took from the Fort Condor game that I wanted to post in Discord, but I wanted to wait a little bit.
Right.
Because for this Proto Relic in this region, you get sucked into the game.
Okay.
And your characters go back to looking like the PS1 version of themselves. And I have a picture of them, and it is fantastic.
Oh, man. That's great.
I'll just leave it there. But just that moment when I saw... And Barrett is like all up in arms about it. Like he is so confused on what's happening. And
that's really
everyone
good.
else is just like, well, I guess this is just how it is for right now.
That's right.
He's got his stupid sunglasses. Like
great.
Just, yeah. It's fantastic. So check that out at some point. But yeah. Outside of that, though, I haven't. Like my story point right now is that they're trying to figure out how to get to the upper layer of Junon.
Oh, okay.
Like that's been the story so far. I haven't.
Right.
I've been so distracted with everything else that I haven't done anything else story-wise.
Yeah, part of my thing too is like, I'm not feeling. This isn't an indictment of the quality of the game or anything. I'm not really feeling the same pull to play this constantly like I have been with other stuff that we've been playing. So I'm kind of taking my time and being like, oh, okay, now I can sit down for like half an hour or an hour and I'll kind of make my way through a little bit more Rebirth, but I'm not really forcing it too much, which I'm glad I'm not, because that'll just make me really not enjoy the game at all. So taking my time. That's exactly how I'm doing it. The only reason I push myself a little bit further than I would right now is I don't want to get spoiled on anything. Yeah, exactly.
Because the internet's going to be the internet. But outside of that, like I think this week I may have played 4 hours altogether. I think 4 or 5.
About the same for me, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'm just picking it up here and there and doing some random things. Like, all right, cool. Now I'm going to go back to Helldivers.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm, like we said last week, just excited to see kind of all the changes, not just story changes, but kind of gameplay changes, and see how the game continues to unfold as you go through. So
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, that's all I played this week.
My only other game here is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I finished... number one, I platinumed it this week.
Woo.
And I finished the Big Swell DLC dungeon. I think I did find one small criticism this week that I sort of came upon, and we've been talking a lot about the kind of the bond system that where you're making connections with your party members, and then that boosts them in combat and everything. But as you fill out their Bond bingo card, which is essentially there's 16 cells in there, and when you're walking around town, you see a like little pink icon on the map. You'll go over there, you'll hit triangle, and they'll have like a little walk and talk section. When you complete that entire card, you get an additional cutscene just between you and that party member. And this isn't like a super harsh criticism, but I wish that was a little bit meatier. It's only like you and that person go to a place, and then you have like 3 or 4 lines of like non-voice acted text, and then you kind of get a picture on the bingo board.
Oh, okay.
I kind of wish there was a little bit more to that. I'm not upset that there isn't, because I mean, I played like 85 hours of this game to get the platinum, so like there's more than enough stuff in here, but because of how big of a deal they make of these bonds in the game and how big of a benefit they are, I wish there was a little bit more at the end. The thing I did like about the Big Swell DLC, or the post-game dungeon, I was a little bit... My expectations going in were going to be that it's just like the dungeons that are in the game. You do a couple floors, you fight a boss, and then you kind of move on. And it's really like maybe a post-game grinding area for materials or XP. But what it actually turned out to be was there's a whole new story attached to it, where every time there's 5 sections, and each section has 5 floors. Every time you'd finish a section, you would have a pretty long, brand new story section between all of the party members that you have in the party, because it takes place after the game. And most of those were like 15, 20, 25 minutes long. Like they were pretty significantly long experiences. So it turned from me just saying like, oh, I'll just use this dungeon to get to level 70 and get the platinum. It turned into, oh, okay, you have some story stuff in here. It wasn't anything serious. It was a lot of fun. Like, look at these adventures we're up to. Yeah. But it turned out to be kind of a cool thing. It turned out to be a neat little experience. So I still wish that was in the base game. Still wish you didn't have to buy that DLC for it. But at least there's some stuff in there that is pretty cool. And you get a bunch of stuff. Like you get some really strong Sujimon for the Pokemon thing. You get a bunch of crafting materials. So there's a ton of stuff in there that I think makes it worth it. But I also I'm not going to finish it because of something that's I'm going to be playing next week. But I did start New Game Plus because I wanted to see what that whole experience is like. And it thankfully was very clear about what gets carried over for New Game Plus. It's essentially everything except for side quest completion.
Okay.
And that's about it. Like, I'm starting the game with $37 million. I have all of my end game gear. I have my level. I have my job levels. I can change to any of the jobs at the beginning of the game. Once you get the ability to change jobs. So like even the stuff that you had to unlock for money, in-game money, later on in the game, I have that stuff available at the very beginning. And that so far has been pretty fun, actually. There are 3 trophies. There's only 3 trophies I have left in the game to get. One is finish New Game Plus, finish New Game Plus on hard, and then finish New Game Plus on legendary. Pro tip, the hard and legendary ones don't stack, so save right before the final boss, beat on legendary, then go mop the floor with them on hard.
At least you can do that.
Yeah, thankfully you can do that. And honestly, I finished the game at level 72, I think it was. And And thankfully, when you go to start New Game Plus, it tells you exactly the level the enemies start with at the beginning of the game. So normal is like level 5, 10, something like that. Hard is level 55, so it's kind of the end game stuff you were doing at the end of your first playthrough. And then legendary is 75. So I was going through and playing on hard because I didn't really want to do the beginning of that game on legendary, and you can change your difficulty as you're playing, and it doesn't lock you out of the trophy. And man, I was just wiping the floor with that game, and that felt really good. Like skipping 100 cutscenes in a row and just being like, oh, this is a tutorial boss battle? Okay, I one-shot them. Let's keep moving. Let's go. So
as it should be.
Yeah, like that's pretty fun. And it's fun to see. Sometimes it's fun to play New Game Plus on an RPG and have next to nothing and have that challenge there. But I do like when a JRPG is just like, yeah, man, like you finished the game, you did all this post-game grinding, you're going to be an unstoppable god at the beginning of this game. It's like, yes, that's exactly what I want to take revenge on some of these bosses that caused me trouble at the beginning of this game. So,
yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm probably done with it because I think I played all that I wanted to. And I could probably go through another playthrough. Legendary difficulty would probably be pretty fun, but I feel like after 85 plus hours, I've kind of done everything I want to do, and I don't want to get to the point where you pass over and you start hating the game because you've played it too much. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather finish this and then wait for, however many years it is until the next one. So I'm assuming they're going to come out with the next one, especially with how well the series is doing in the West right now. So, yeah. Still, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, still really great. I love it. 2 thumbs up. That's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Oh.
I'll find my show notes here. There they are. Oh, boy.
I did forget to mention in the pre-show, Liverpool faced Man City today. 1-1 draw. Title race is wide open between 3 different teams with 10 games to go in the season. 1 point separates 3 different teams, I believe. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, I think we talked about this on Wayward Sons. Hey, Boston, did you see Arachnophobia when you were way too young?
It wasn't Arachnophobia, but there was a movie like that when I was way too young, yeah.
Okay. Because I think they just dropped 2024's Arachnophobia.
Oh, no.
Because I like watching trailers. It's my favorite thing about going to the movie theater is I like trailers. Therefore, I have several YouTube things which are, here is the new trailers for movies coming out this month / next 2 or 3 months.
What,
compilations of
Can I make
trailers.
a prediction about which one this is?
Go ahead.
Is this the Adam Sandler Netflix Spaceman movie?
Nope.
Okay. I got a jump scare in that movie where I'm like, oh, Adam Sandler is doing like a serious...
I might have to watch this one, though.
It's like, well, hold on. They're doing like a serious like guy who's by himself in space, and a space alien who's voiced by Paul Dano, who I love, like makes his way on the ship, and they have like a budding friendship. I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, we were talking about this earlier. You hover over the thing, it plays a little trailer. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's watch a little bit of this. And it has Adam Sandler sort of looking off camera and being like, who are you? What are you doing here? And I was like, ooh, yeah, okay. And the camera switches. It's a giant space spider with Paul Dano's voice being like, I found you on the outer edges of space. And I was like, you got to warn people, man. Like, I don't have a thing against spiders, but like, this dude's huge. What are we doing?
I saw a thing on TikTok about that, and I couldn't figure out like there was no context or anything, no title given for what the video was. It was like, okay, this must be like some weird only came out in Korea kind of movie.
Yeah, it's called Spaceman. I think it just came out.
Okay.
So the one I'm talking about is called Infested, and it looks like it's a French movie, and it's a Shudder movie. So that should give you an idea.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for it, and it reminded me of Arachnophobia, and I really want to see it, and I 100% do not want to see this movie at all.
Is this the one that came out last year?
I mean, maybe.
Residents of a rundown French apartment building battle against an army of deadly, rapidly reproducing spiders.
Yep.
That's when
I saw the trailer, and it's got some Arachnophobia moments in it, and I'm like, fuck no, I never want to see that.
Boy.
I kind of do. Like, the trailer shows this dude taking a spider home with him, and he likes spiders, and he puts it in a shoebox, and then closes the shoebox. Then when he comes back to his apartment, he's like, where did the spider go? And the spider dug a hole through the shoebox to escape.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Bleh. All right, you guys ready for the rest of this episode?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, let me say this one thing real quick. I saw... This is what makes me a bad husband to my wife. My wife is terrified of spiders.
Okay.
Wants nothing to do with them. I get called into the room when she needs me to release one into the wild or kill it, depending on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There is an earring of like a giant daddy long legs that you can get, and it's fake. But like it looks like it's crawling on your ear.
Yeah.
And it was only $2, and I'm like, that is a horrible idea that I
How
might
terrible
invest in,
am I?
and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get divorced.
Oh,
So
man.
yes, I am ready.
All right.
I will not do it. I love my wife, but sometimes.
But the thought is simmering in there of like tucking that away for future.
Yep.
Bookmark that shit.
That's right.
Be like, see the things I could have done but didn't because
That's
I love
right.
you.
That's right. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk U.S. releases for the week of March 11th, 2024. Contra Option Galuga comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is way forward. They're remaking the first Contra game,
Cool.
which is interesting. It seems like they're adding some additional stages in here and some additional mechanics, because that's excuse me, getting all choked up about Contra. That's sort of what Way Forward does really well, is they take...
I was going to say, didn't they do that with Shantae?
Yeah, they've done that with a lot of their stuff. Is like, we're going to take this kind of classic beloved game, and we're going to find the core of what makes this game great, and then we're going to add on that. So this seems pretty cool. I like the idea of it. I'm not sure I'll play it, but there's also have co-op in this as well. I think it's online co-op as well.
Okay.
So if you want to do the classic 2-person Contra run and gun, you can do that. So
Can you steal health from each other?
That's the real question.
Yeah.
Can I use the other players' lives too? Yeah. Next game here is Melatonin, comes out on PS5. I hate YouTube so much. This came out on PC and Switch in December 2022. Trying to figure out, I had a real hard time this week trying to figure out what platforms things are coming out on. So if this is also coming out on Series X, I apologize. I couldn't find a listing of it. This is a kind of like a chill rhythm game. So Moon, this
there
is
you
maybe...
go, Moon.
Yeah, this is maybe a Switch rhythm game that you're looking for. It sort of reminds me of the WarioWare games, where you're kind of trying to do things to the beat of the stuff that's happening on screen. But it's all these kind of muted colors, pastel colors, that sort of thing that's going on in this. It looks pretty cool. I watched some playthroughs of it earlier, and it looks really neat. It looks kind of a more relaxing experience. So that's Melatonin. Next game here is Llamasoft, the Jeff Minter story, coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. This is Digital Eclipse. They did Atari 50 in the making of Karateka. So they're taking that formula that they've made where it's this interactive kind of experience about a topic, and they're applying that to Jeff Minter and Llamasoft. Cool. And I like the description here. It says 42 of the weirdest, trippiest, sheepiest games ever created, which
I have very, very limited experience with Minter games. Like, very limited. I know everybody seems to adore them, so this might be the step in that I need.
I think Llamasoft and Minter games are so singular that I think a collection like this is perfect, because I don't really like the games that he makes. I find them largely inscrutable, but that's why I like collections like this, because I expect them to kind of go into his back catalog and explain why these games were so important and why they're so beloved and why they were kind of groundbreaking. Because I don't really like playing them, but I could play something like this and get that education about it. I think that's what's so important about it. Especially as these creators are still alive, I think it's really important to capture, like, you've made these really weird games and you're kind of infamous for your back catalog. Let's figure out why, sort of from the industry, but also from the person. I think that's super important. So I really hope they keep making more stuff. I'm glad they keep making stuff after Atari 50. And I hope they keep, digging into more cool stuff like this. Next game here is High Water. This is coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is coming out from Demagogue Studios. They made Golf Club Wasteland and The Cub. So if you kind of know that studio's output, it's pretty similar. It's a adventure sailing game that has a turn-based puzzle combat system when you're running into enemies. It's this kind of interesting mishmash of things that are seem to come together pretty nicely. It also seems like this game came out about a year ago on iOS and Android, and I feel like I totally missed it. So I haven't really heard anything about this otherwise, but it looks kind of neat. That studio makes some real neat things. If anyone hasn't checked out Golf Club Wasteland, that's a cool little different thing. Next game here, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is Battlefront 1 and 2, the original one, not the more recent one. They're essentially kind of putting those on modern consoles, cleaning them up a little bit, adding some additional maps, and then making it so you can play them online, it seems like. So that seems
Battlefront 2 Galactic Campaign. Best mode ever in any FPS. Yeah.
I don't know if I played that or not.
Dude, I played that all the time. It's just you trying to take over the galactic map.
Oh, okay.
And you get dropped down to whatever planet you're fighting over. If you win it, you take over that planet. If you win over the entire sector, you get that sector, and you can move on to the next. If you lose it, they start advancing on your stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it was a lot. I spent a ton of time playing this game on that campaign mode.
Yeah, that's cool. Next game here, Outcast: A New Beginning, comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is really weird. It seems to be a sequel to 1999's Outcast, which, if anyone hasn't played that, is basically the first, if not like one of the very first open world games. Was sort of infamous at the time for being, like a lot of games were at the time, for being really hard to run, because PCs were in an interesting spot.
The iconography and like the images are tickling this little magazine reading brain that I had when I was younger.
Yes, like as soon as I was watching this trailer, I was like, wait a minute, is this?
I recognize that back. I
remember
that
these
circle symbol.
Yeah, these portals look awfully similar. And when I went to look, they're like, yeah, we just made a new one like 25 years later. It's like, sorry, wait, what? So really, I had no idea this was coming out. Really interested to see what this turns out to be eventually. Wild to see THQ Nordic just say like, oh, here's something we own from a bajillion years ago. Remake a brand new one. Enjoy. So
I was gonna say I knew this looked familiar too. They re-released the first game on PlayStation 4 and what was the other one? Xbox probably.
Okay.
Back in 2017, that was called Second Contact. Yeah, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, as well as Windows. Because I knew that they, quote unquote, recently released an Outcast game. I was like, it's not this one.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, so check out the sequel of all things after all this time. Goodness. Yeah. Next game here, we have Crypt of the Necrodancer Synchrony DLC comes out of early access. They made a comment about like, hey man, remember Crypt of the Necrodancer? We've been working on that for a real long time, and we got 3 new characters, a whole bunch of new items and enemies, multiplayer, online. I don't know how that's going to work, but okay. And then full mod support, including a mod storefront inside of the game. So, gosh. Okay. Oh, good on them for continuing to support Crypt of the Necrodancer. That game's really great. If you haven't checked that out, you really should. It's very high. Check WeRoguelikeIt.com to see where it ranks in our list of the greatest roguelikes of all time. It's pretty high. That game's great. Next game here, we have something called Unables. There's a game coming out on Switch and maybe PC. I had a hard time telling with this one. This is a physics comedy game. Essentially, everybody in the world is so incredibly lazy that you can't get them to move. So you have to move the environment to get them into the proper positions that they need to be in to solve the puzzles in this level.
That's cool.
Looks really wild. I'm hoping it
looks nausea-inducing.
Yeah. I'm hoping when you play it, it's not going to be super nausea-inducing, but watching the trailer, there's some shots where I'm like, ooh, boy, okay, hold on. Wait, I need a second. So that's definitely a very unique title that I stumbled on, but that's called Unables coming out. Oh, this has PS4 and PS5 on it as well. Who knows? Check your storefront, March 14th. Releases. Last but not least here, we have Out of the Park Baseball 25 comes out on PC, OS X, and Linux. Want to mention this is the 25th anniversary of the Out of the Park series here. If you're watching the video version here on the stream, the video is actually playing. It's a spreadsheet.
It's just a giant stat screen right now.
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet game. It's Football Manager.
Yeah, it's Football Manager for... But they, I missed this at some point. They are officially licensed by the MLB. So they have all of the players and all of the stats and the teams and all that stuff. I really wish I loved some sport enough to get into one of these games, because it feels like something I would really dig, and I really respect. There's like the F1 version of it. There's the football one for Football Manager. There's this. I don't like any sports enough to
you just gotta
play
find
one
your
of these.
crutch. Because I could care less about this, but there is an honest to God space truck simulator that released on Steam, and I'm like, I could get into that really hard.
Now you're talking my language. Yeah, there you go.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing as Elite, and that's because you can get up out of the chair, you can load stuff up on your truck, you can set up your truck, you're flying it.
There you go.
And that's what makes games dangerous for me.
That's right. Wanted to mention too. I wanted to start mentioning Game Pass games for the week, because Microsoft is starting to put out more things that aren't day and date Game Pass stuff. That is of note. So Game Pass games for this week: SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, most notably Control Ultimate Edition, is coming to Game Pass. If you haven't played it, it gets the highest recommendation from all three of us. You should really go do that.
It also has, the Ultimate Edition has all the accessibility options, which includes a God mode, which does not deactivate achievements.
That's right.
At least it didn't a while ago.
I just played it a couple weeks ago, and that still was the case.
So if you're worried about difficulty or some of the jank, there's a bunch of stuff for accessibility that you can mess with as well. So
yeah. And then No More Heroes 3 is the last one for Game Pass. PlayStation Plus games this month: Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. If you wanted to play probably the best Destiny 2 expansion, knock that out pretty quickly. That's still really great. Sifu, Hello Neighbor 2, and EA Sports F1 23 all comes
Son
out.
started that today. The F1 game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing FIFA because all I saw was Fee.
Right.
Like, I wasn't looking at the TV. I'm like, oh, you're playing a soccer game? He's like, no, I'm playing the F1 game.
Duh. It's like, oh, okay. Sure. We got two bummer news stories here, so let's just kind of rip off the Band-Aid here.
Can we flip these? I want to talk about the most important one last.
Sure. Rooster Teeth is the most articles are saying they're shutting down. They're getting shut down. Like, let's not put too fine a point on it. Warner Brothers Discovery is shutting them down after 21 years of operation. You'll probably know them from either Red versus Blue or Ruby, but they've also been...
Achievement Hunter. Thank you very much.
I'm getting
I was going to say a lot of
they
their
do
earlier stuff.
Genlock podcasts, Achievement Hunter, YouTube stuff. Like they were rolling up a ton of really great content as they kind of continue to get bigger and bigger.
I would almost say that they were the ones that started the videos of the Minecraft Let's Plays of just let's just screw off and come up with dumb stuff and record it, and people apparently love it.
Oh, sure.
I have talked about this before. He's not the one who created it, but he's the one who definitely popularized it. But that trend that we had for about 8 years of just yelling Let's Play at the start of a video, that was Ray Novaez Jr. over at Achievement Hunter, who now has left the company a long time ago and now does streaming a lot of the time. And he streams with people who were fans of his when he was there, so they always wind him up by asking him to say Let's Play, which he hates. But it's divisive. Like, they've made arguably some of the most important content that exists on the internet came out of that company. Go read Glassdoor.
Yeah, especially over the last couple of years, the culture of Rooster Teeth has sort of come to light, and the issues sort of surrounding it. It's really tough because, like we're talking about, they helped popularize video Let's Plays. Something Awful started Let's Plays way back when, but like they helped popularize machinima with Red versus Blue, because that's the first machinima that most people have seen is, oh, someone made these Halo guys say some funny stuff. That's funny. And then they made
Blood
like
Gold
19
all the time,
seasons
24/7.
Yeah. But like the flip side of it is, it seems like there was a culture of abuse allegedly from a lot of ex-workers there that seemed pretty bad. So it's
I don't even know if I know anybody current, because I was real big on them when they first started.
Yeah,
and around the time I was say around the time Monty passed was around the time that I kind of started falling off of it, because I'm not going to say his passing was because of the company or anything, but you could feel like a shift changing in like the podcast and everything that they were doing. And after a while, I just kind of fell off, and then all I heard was just the horror stories, which wasn't great. So, but good luck to them, though, or everyone else that's involved.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, because there's still a considerable amount of people that were working there and putting out a ton of stuff. So, like, it's such a bummer because we continue to see this through. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, I promise. But like we're so
Warner Brothers strikes again.
Yeah, but it's not only Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is definitely like the persona non grata at the moment. But like we just saw Vice get shut down completely. Like MinMax did a retrospective on the 1UP show, which is like the genesis of this very show you're listening to is the 1UP show and the 1UP podcast. And like all of that stuff is just gone. And like pretty soon all of Rooster Teeth stuff is gonna be gone. Because these large companies just scoop this stuff up and then don't want to pay anything, not just residuals, which doesn't apply to most of this stuff, but they just don't want to pay to maintain it, and they just get rid of it as soon as they possibly can, and so much of the internet's history disappears.
Yeah, all seemingly just because they had money and they could do it. Like they don't seem to care for the things that they're buying.
Right.
But speaking of 1UP, you guys remember going to their website and getting your level up by clicking around on their website?
Yeah, they and Giant Bomb had, like, remember Giant Bomb's cool, like, scavenger hunt achievement stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also had the S rank on completions before anybody else was doing that stuff. They did it.
Yep.
Oh, listening to them talk about how they got that thing to work and how it became so broken at the end that they just had to stop.
The like dark magic needed. Yeah.
Yeah. It was most of those guys in the original Giant Bomb, I could listen to hours of them just talking about behind the scenes crap and the things that they had to do to get things to work. Like that seemed like such a shoestring budget thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Our only another news story here this week. It's probably the news story you've talked about. It is impactful enough that even if it wasn't video game adjacent, we'd still be talking about it, that Akira Toriyama has passed away March 1st at the age of 68 due to acute subdermal hematoma.
His influence cannot be overstated. And I don't say that like half-heartedly. Like without him, without Dragon Ball, you arguably don't have the beat 'em up or the fighting game as a video game genre.
Yeah, you mostly wouldn't have manga or anime at that point either, because that was such a kid thing at that time too.
Yeah, he's generally agreed upon as the second most popular manga and anime creator of all time.
Behind,
I always forget his name, but he made Astro Boy, which is like
largely
the first beginning.
But this is the Asimov Frank Herbert conversation again, where it's like one came first and then the second one.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and I struggle with how to couch his influence properly, because saying that he's like the most influential, he has touched every artist that you love and every artist you have seen. He has touched their work no matter what they make. And that's in manga, that's in anime, that's in movies, that's obviously in video games. He drew
Chrono Trigger, right?
He drew Chrono Trigger,
Dragon Warrior,
Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest. Like the thing that was coming out a lot this week, the most obvious thing that you see is the Dragon Quest slime. And this week, a lot of people have been sharing the thing that the developers thought of, like this reaching out, like horrifying looking slime that they said, like, hey, we need you to design kind of our basic enemy here. And then he turned in the Dragon Quest slime and the light went off on their head of like, oh, okay, he gets what this game is now. Like, this is the style of the game. But what most people don't know is he's the one that popularized what's now like the poop emoji, that kind of like coiled little pile. Like he's really the one who designed and started working on that stuff. In
his honor, because it's going to be the one that most of our listeners probably have experience with. Give me top 2 Dragon Ball Z moments. I can go first if you want, because I already have mine too.
Okay.
Number 1, the World Champions tournament that they have. I think it's after the Cell Saga. when they're fighting with humans. It's the start of the Boo saga, and they're fighting with regular humans, and the kids have to enter, but they're entering in like kids rounds and so on and so forth. To qualify, they have to punch like a test machine to see how strong your punch is to make it through. And everybody does like this little flick and gets it. And then Vegeta just walks over and destroys the thing. Because he's not going to flick it. He's going to trash that thing.
Right.
One of my favorite moments. And my second and probably my favorite Dragon Ball Z moment of all time period is the final fight in the Cell Saga. The moment when Android 16, I think it is, gets killed, and Gohan goes full-blown Ascended Super Saiyan 2 with the blue electricity and everything else.
That's
one of the best moments in anime, period.
When Gohan turns into Super Saiyan 2 and he has the tears in his eyes, like that's just, that's an all-time moment. My other moment, though, is the first time that Future Trunks shows up and kills...
Oh, it's so good.
Like Mecha Frieza with one slice. This thing they've been fighting over for like the last 30 episodes, and he just comes in and he's like, oh yeah, that dude? Whatever. Moving on. Like that's...
You're already dead.
And like seeing the cell, the animation cell split and slowly move, like as Future Trunks cuts, like... So those are my two moments, hands down. Like, obviously, there's other stuff like learning how to drive, and like there's a bunch of like fun episodes, but those are great.
Vegeta becoming a husband, and not just a husband, but a stay-at-home husband because he can't work. But also Master Roshi. I mean. I have a very particular character type that I enjoy, and lazy characters that turn out to be the strong, among strong characters.
Who seems to largely be designed after Toriyama himself. Like
Yes. And the whole thing where he was getting the crap beat out of him, and he just kept getting back up, and eventually released like the strongest Kamehameha that he had, and pretty much sacrificed himself for it to save. It's like. Man, the whole overarching story is you get knocked down, you get back up. And if you get knocked down again, you get back up. You don't give in.
Yeah, it's...
Quick shout out to the very first episode of Dragon Ball Super, where Vegeta has to go to a theme park with Trunks, and it's Vegeta on a tiny little... model train for kids, and Vegeta's sitting on it with the grumpiest look on his face ever, because he promised him he'd do it way back when in Dragon Ball Z.
Yep. And like we haven't even talked about Toriyama's huge, like bigger thing with Dr. Slump, like something that I know a startlingly small amount about. Like he's just, it's such a shame because he's such a prolific artist and creator, and he died so young. And I hope if there's going to be any silver lining to this, I hope that this brings some sort of reform to manga creators' lifestyles and how the industry treats them, because they're all just dying too young because they're just killing themselves with work. And it's such a shame. And I love seeing one of those few times where the entirety of the internet comes together to say, like, here's my favorite thing he's done, here's why he's great, here's the art that he's influenced. I wouldn't be making art if I wasn't like tracing stuff out of, this screenshot I posted from the internet, and I'm trying to draw my own Super Saiyan. Like, it's incredible.
Having the creators of the big three, One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, coming out and write out like this whole thing where it's like we wouldn't have existed. It's like we met with him, he was our hero, and and then you got everyone was like, well, why isn't Dragon Ball Z in the big three? It's like, because it's higher than the three. It's Dragon Ball, and then it's the big three.
Right. Like Dragon Ball Z is right up there with Dragon Ball. Like it's they're up there, man. Like
they are the Binding of Isaac for anime.
Right.
Like they belong on a different level.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So it's such a shame, and it's such an impactful passing, and I wish we had 17 more hours to talk about the impact, and we would probably only just scratch the surface, and I think that's an incredible legacy to leave behind. So,
it's one of the few things in this world that's like almost universal, like
yeah.
Dragon Ball, Star Wars. Like there aren't very many things that like you could that people who don't have an interest in them are aware of them and have some idea, or or have some things about them that they know.
It's so funny to see so many people saying, like, when I was younger, I thought I was too cool for Dragon Ball Z, and then I watched it and I realized I'm not. Everybody loves Dragon Ball Z across the entire world. Like, it's incredible. It's amazing.
Have you seen... So, to give you an idea of the influence he had, folks, bunch of Mexican and Portuguese soccer teams played. They all did cardboard cut, like, hold the cardboard up to make a picture signs for him. There was a European team that did a pull-out, like, display where they pulled... Wow. And you're talking stadium-sized things, by the way.
Yeah.
And the
there was one about with like a projector and like a smoke screen or something in one of the stadiums that I had seen as well.
Oh, wild.
So the F1 Grand Prix was in Abu Dhabi this week, and they had a drone demonstration as an ode to him as well.
I mean, multiple governments around the world officially recognize the day of his passing. Like it can't be understated how impactful he and his works are. And it's
I mean, there was also the fake meme of the Mexican cartels doing a ceasefire. However, Dragon Ball is really big in Mexico. Like,
yes,
really big, and you could. Like, I talked to a lot of my Mexican friends, and they were hit a lot harder than the rest of us, it feels like, Yeah. So, it just sucks.
We'll watch some clips of your favorite Toriyama thing to go celebrate.
Yeah. Go look at a slime and giggle at how...
Man, slime is just... It's so... Every time I see one of those slimes, I'm like, look at that little rascal.
Yeah, if not friend, why friend shape?
That's right. And then he hit me.
Yeah, for 1 point of damage. Yeah.
That's right.
I only had 10. Give it back.
That's right. Oh, man. All right. Well, that's all of our news stories this week, which means we're at the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the Discord server. Please hop on the Discord server. We were talking about the LFG channel earlier today in regards to Lethal Company and Helldivers. So go join over there if you want to play with anybody from the community. That channel's hopping. So if you're looking at...
it's any game. It's not just those two. Those happen to be the two right now.
Yeah,
but
whatever
if you got something else.
Yeah, whatever you want to play. If you want to play with some other people, hop in there and go get a group together. Don't forget about patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are numbers.
Mentioned at the top of the show all the cool stuff that you can get for your $5 is a recommended tier. Don't forget about that. That's $5 per month, not per week or per episode. So it's a great value. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Best way to support us, go hit the YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. That stuff does really help. We always put out a video for all of the shows on the public feed. And get that over there. You see, trailers and gameplay for most of these shows as we're talking about the games themselves. If you can rate podcast on any platform, giving it the maximum amount of stars or likes or hearts or whatever, really does help for this show and any show you really like. A lot of the recommendations are driven from reviews, not necessarily from subscriber count. So leaving a review and interacting with that does really help any podcast you like continue to grow. I think that... last plug here. Don't forget to check out weroguelikeit.com. Find some cool roguelikes to play and check out the list. The very scientific list of the best roguelikes of all time. That's all we got. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Nimp. What you got?
I only have 3. They are: if it lags, it's a feature; the loop never ends; and got my revenge on Crybaby Ned.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
The American healthcare system, the grind stage, air some grievances, capitalism simulator, and the Spear of Midnight.
Spear of Midnight. All right, I have There Was a Work Issue. I just like how Moon dropped that. If it lags, it's a feature. Got my revenge on Crybaby Ned and Spear of Midnight. I like Crybaby Ned because I think that's a really great sentence and it makes me laugh every time I see it. But I'm open to suggestions.
I'm good with Ned as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Circling.
I'm ready.
Sure.
Oh, thank you, Pharaoh. I'll add exclamation WRI to the thing. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 855 from March 11th, 2024. Got my revenge on Crybaby Ned.
He was just a good Christian neighbor.
Sometimes you just need a good cry.
That's right.
I almost responded to what you just said out loud, and that was not going to be good.
No, that'd be really great.
It's the only Ned I know. Like, quite literally the only Ned I know.
I know, but mine was not fit for this podcast.
All right, let's see if exclamation WRI works. We'll see. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Go cuddle with your piccolo body pillow.